Hi, Tiffany Timmons here with the Mindset of Planning Goals for Sales Professionals, Part 2. You should have already completed Part 1 and your homework. So Wheel of Life, you've gone through that exercise and you've done your list of 101, be, do, or have. You might not have 101, but I hope you've really stretched yourself to come up with as many as possible. And you've qualified your goals. That list was in the Part 1. And then you've picked 2 to 3 that you really want to work on. We're going to work through a personal goal and then a professional goal during our time together today. So you probably want to know, how do you get results? This sounds great, Tiffany, but don't waste my time. I got to make sure I see results. Absolutely. And the more clear you are, the more likely you are to manifest results. Florence Chadwick, are you familiar with her? Amazing swimmer who broke a lot of world records swimming across the English Channel. And one of her goals had always been to swim from Alcatraz to San Francisco. Well, if you've never been out there, or if you have, you know that that water there is really cold. Oh, and it's shark infested. And it's foggy a lot. So on the morning of her first try, she got in the water at Alcatraz and started swimming. Very foggy. There were sharks around her. Her mother and her coach were trying to shoo them away while she was swimming and encouraging her to keep going, keep going. And she got to a point, she said, I can't do it anymore. Pull me up. And they took her out of the water. And once she was out of the water, she realized she was 200 feet from the coast of San Francisco. Now, Florence said, I don't want to use this as an excuse, but if I could have seen the coast, I know I could have kept going. A few weeks later, on a clear day, she got in the water, same route, and successfully completed her swim, being the first woman to swim from Alcatraz to San Francisco. So being able to clearly see where you want to go will help you focus on where you're going. You've heard me say it before that studies show that people who are always thinking of where they want to go are more solution-oriented instead of being focused on problems. So we want you to have vision of where you're going. Crystal clarity on where you want to go. And we want to focus on completion rather than perfection. Focus on completion. So don't worry about it being perfect. It's not going to be. It's never going to be. That's not what's important. We want you, though, to have your plan and start working it. It's also important for you to realize that knowing why you're here won't change anything. Many times when I'm coaching people, we'll start to go down the rabbit hole of talking about why they're in a position, why they aren't the sales manager, why are they a sales rep, or why are they at this company and this other company went out of business. You know, it doesn't really matter. Where you're going is what's important. So what you will walk away with from this module, a clearly defined goals for your long term, whether that long term is a year or 5 years, and a 90-day goal and plan to start executing immediately. Don't wait to be great. We're ready to start right now. So a GPS has 4 points. And this is what's important as we do your internal GPS. It's where you start, how you get there, when you get there, and where are you going? Where is that final destination? All of those 4 points are what's going to make up your 90-day plan. But if you've been with me for a little while, you know that variable mindset training, VMT, is absolutely imperative to everything that we're doing. So we're going to start there in asking, are you above the line or below the line? Kind of like a little game show. All right, are you an eagle or are you thinking like a duck? Are you proactive, or you probably fill in the blank here, are you reactive? Are you thinking do, or are you thinking don't do? What excuse can you come up with to not do something? Are you using discipline, or are you undisciplined? Remember, a successful plan has desire, discipline, and design. Today we're focusing on your design. What does it look like? And could do if instead of can't. This one's a really important one, and this will really change how you think. If you've gone through the right mindset training with me, this though is extremely important because so many times we're thinking, oh, I can't do something. If we can switch our thinking to, I could do it if, that's where you're going to put yourself in a solution position. Activity versus inactivity. If you're in sales and you want to see results, massive activity equals massive results. So do you choose to be above or below the line? It's all your choice. We have so many choices that we make every single day. What's your choice going to be today? If you've ever read children's books, you realize a lot of them are written in rhymes. And the reason being that rhyming is a way to engage your brain for retention. So this is one that I came up with on the planning process. And the process is simple. It's not easy to do. You can bet on results when you see it all through. It is simple, and I'm going to walk you through it. It doesn't mean that it's easy, though. Again, do you have the discipline to go through it, and do you have the desire to go through it? If not, you're gambling with your future. So it's up to you. Do you want to plan or do you want to gamble? Who likes shortcuts? Oh, I love them. If they really work. I have found in life, though, there really aren't shortcuts for the things that are most important. Shortcuts are just that. They leave you short of your goal. If you try to shortcut relationships with people, they're not going to be fulfilled. If you try to shortcut the effort you put into your career, it's going to show. Shortcuts, they don't really work. So as a sales professional, have you ever felt a bit lost, unsure of what to do, really unclear on what you're doing? Or on the other side, you feel just plain busy and you're running, but you're frustrated because you're working so hard and you're not seeing the results that you think you should be. I've been there. I have felt them. So if you've ever had those feelings, would you benefit from clarity in what you are striving for? Focus in the day-to-day. So at the end of the day, you don't say, I was busy and I got nothing done, but you say, I was busy and I feel really good about what I've accomplished. Confidence in how to do it and clarity on why you're doing it. 80% of small businesses fail in the United States. And the reason is not due to lack of passion or lack of hard work. It's because of lack of planning. And the statistic for sales reps who don't succeed in their position is not far behind that. Believe it or not, some people I work with will go below the line. When we go through the goals test, they'll say, well, my manager gave me this goal or my owner gave me this goal. Really, it's not my goal. So let me ask you this. If your manager, supervisor, owner gave you a goal and you work for a company and they believe in you, they believe you can do more than you're doing. Now, it might stretch you and put you in an uncomfortable zone. Remember, that's where the magic happens and where growth happens. And they've given you the responsibility to make it happen and find solutions. Doesn't that really make it your goal? You see, anything worth doing is worth doing well. When I think of someone who was given a goal that they didn't really want, and it really wasn't their skill set, I think of Michelangelo. So whether you're an art and history fan, you can appreciate this story of competition, backstabbing, and triumph. I'm sure you've heard of Michelangelo. No, not that Michelangelo. This Michelangelo, the world's most famous sculptor. Well, he had competition just like anybody else, and Raphael was actually one of his biggest competitors. So Raphael devised a plan, And when Michelangelo was out of town, he went to the Pope, and the Pope was the one who decided who worked on what projects. And Raphael told him, I think you should have Michelangelo paint the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel. See, Michelangelo was so well known for his sculpting that nobody could even come close to him. So Raphael thought, you know what, if I make him go and paint frescoes, which he's not really good at, he's going to get so angry that he's going to get mad at everybody else, and he will start to lose his respect and clout that he has within the community. Boy, did that plan backfire. And here's the finished product. But let me share with you some of the challenges that Michelangelo faced while doing it. Well, at first, scaffolding was built under Raphael's guidance, so you can imagine how that was done, and it was attached to the ceiling. And Michelangelo said, well, how am I supposed to paint once the scaffolding comes down where the holes are? And Raphael said, well, you'll figure it out. Well, he did figure it out. He fired that carpenter, took all the scaffolding down, brought in somebody else, and nobody really knows exactly how it was done, but it was done in a way that nothing touched the ceiling or the walls. Michelangelo also brought in help from other painters, but he never kept them in there long enough with him where they could ever learn the secrets to his painting. And contrary to popular belief, he did not lie on his back while he painted. He would actually crane his neck back so far, and he did it for so long that for months after this was completed, he couldn't read or look at a drawing by looking down. He had to hold it up and crane his neck back. So the Sistine Chapel was revealed to the world in 1512. And the artist who was thought to be unable to paint frescoes ended up painting the world's most famous fresco. It wasn't his goal. It was commissioned to him, it was given to him, and he took it, and look what he did. Let's get your internal GPS set on where we're going, also known as your RAS, your reticular activating system. We're going to start off with the goals procedure chart. These are going to be bigger picture. It might be a year goal, it might be 2 years, 3 years. After that, we're going to break it down into 90 days. We want to take this big elephant and create those bite-sized pieces for you. After that, then you're going to end up with your KPIs, which are your key performance indicators, and your micro-marketing plan. That there in red is what's going to give you confidence throughout your day, clarity on what to do, and always having a plan to follow. If you follow these steps, it is my personal guarantee that you will see bigger and better results than you have ever experienced. And you can go as fast or as slow as you want. We do want to focus on completion, not perfection. If you don't have it yet, go ahead and print out this goals procedure chart. And now we want to take your goal that you've already gone through and qualified it and take it through this process. So you should have already qualified the goal. You asked yourself, is it really my goal? And remember, if it was a goal that your manager or boss gave you, think of Michelangelo, can I see myself reaching this goal? And is it consistent with my other goals? The key thing there is that consistency. If one of your goals is to lose 10 pounds, and then another goal is to go out for dinner 4 nights a week with friends, not really consistent. So make sure you're really checking on that consistency. I'm going to run you through on the personal side. Remember, these goals don't have to be only professional. I also want you to get practice in doing them personally as well. So I'm actually going to walk you through one of my personal goals. So first one, what is your goal? To write a cookbook is one of mine. You can pause this and go ahead. We'll do this together in your own space. Write down what your goal is. Second question, why? What's in it for me? Well, I've personally become so enriched with cooking. It's helped me to be healthier, happier, connect more with my family. I enjoy teaching my children and building memories with my family and friends. So I would love to share with other busy mothers a Lebanese style of cooking that's fun, healthy, and not as hard as it seems. And the bottom line is it's fun for me. So go ahead and write your why. What's in it for you? What are the obstacles to overcome? Once we know what the obstacles are, it's much easier for us to devise a way around them. Don't skip this step. So the obstacles that I've determined: time, recording everything in detail. Those kind of go together. So how do I get to my notebook fast enough in order to write something down? Really not knowing how to put together a book. I've never done it before. And another obstacle I imagine is I need to find test cooks. So once I have some recipes together, I need to find people who are actually going to test them and see if they really work the same way I think they do. What are your obstacles that you need to overcome in order to reach your goal? The skills and knowledge that are required for me to reach this goal. I might need some real cooking skills, not only my homegrown ones. And I have to learn how to write a cookbook. I really don't know what goes into it and how to promote a cookbook. Now that I've identified those skills and knowledge, I can then start to think, where do I go for those? Go ahead and write your own down. So who are those people and those groups that can help me to get my cookbook written? My mother-in-law is already a wealth of knowledge that I've recorded as much as possible of tips and recipes. Upwork is a place that I go to find contract work. I could probably find somebody who can help write it. I have a friend who's actually published cookbooks, so I need to interview her. And Evernote is something I've looked into, but I don't know it all the way yet. A place to record ideas quickly. And cooking classes. I've taken some more would be a good idea. Go ahead and identify your groups and people that can help you reach your goal. Okay, now it's time to develop a plan of action. So these are some things I need to be aware of. I need to continue the practice of weekly meal planning, where I record what I'm cooking and then also the response that I get from my family. Writing down all the meals and recipes that my mother-in-law cooks and making sure that I observe her while she's doing it. That's been a big part of learning. And then try some new dishes to make. I can't only stick with all the old ones. Start writing out these recipes and asking friends to cook them and give me their feedback. And then start thinking through the chapters to be written and filling them in. Go ahead and write down your plan of action. And finally, when will I complete it? Like I said, some of these can be long-term or shorter term. This is a long-term goal. I'm probably thinking 2020 will give me 4 more years of compiling and practicing all of this information. And go ahead and give yourself a deadline. Now let's shift over to professional goal. We're going to go through that same process in order to develop our professional growth. So number 1, what is your goal? Mine is to leverage my training and coaching by using technology. You're actually experiencing that right now. And why do I want to do it? Well, I can work with more people. I can help more sales professionals and leaders, and then our time spent together is going to be more impactful. For many years, I would go through this whole process with people one-on-one. And I've learned that I've got to start leveraging my time a bit more so that I can reach more people. And I want to eliminate repetition. Since I've been doing it for a while, I want to be able to get in and work with people one-on-one without having to do the tactical information, which is all very important and it needs to be done. I'm finding a better way to do it. So what obstacles do I need to overcome? Time ends up there, which I need to plan my time. Packing in all the golden nuggets, because I have so many different pieces from different trainings. And when I work with people, it usually brings out other learning so that I can help them get those BFOs, the blinding flashes of the obvious. So how do I package those into my training? technology frustrations, organizing all these modules, and then going back and revising them. You're probably catching a couple mistakes that are in here. This isn't the final product. There's that constant and never-ending improvement that I'm also living right with you. So go ahead and write down your obstacles to overcome. Okay, what skills and knowledge will be required? Well, I need to absolutely get the skills of how to organize these modules and learn more about voiceover. How do I use my voice to communicate and really drive home important messages? Maybe I need to get some better editing and software and learn how to use Evernote. This Evernote should save my life, right? From when it comes to organization. Go ahead and write down your skills and knowledge that are required for you and your goal. Okay, who are the people that can help you? Father Josh Wagner's really helped me immensely in building websites and creating some of my content. I need to go back to him though, because I need phase 2 now. Other trainers and coaches, my own coach, my assistant can also help me. And as I'm looking at this now, there are other people that I should include in this list. So who are the people that can help you reach your goal? Now we get into the plan of action. So my plan of action is I need to identify each module, sketch out the vision for each one. What do I want people to walk away with? Have my assistant type it out, revise it, continue to add those gold nuggets, and then prioritize them. Which ones am I going to work on first? Begin recording them, publish, share, and test. Test and measure. You'll hear me say that a lot. Ask for feedback, and I need to add to that, then adjust based on that feedback. So go ahead and write out your plan of action. All right, our last part, when will you complete it? Well, part of this is going to be ongoing. And I want to make sure, though, I have 16 modules created by the end of 2016. I was in Disney World a couple years ago, and they had one of the new parts of the park was under reconstruction and being rebuilt. And there was a quote on there that I saw that I can't help but share, but it says, "Everyone needs deadlines." A little wisdom from Mr. Walt Disney himself. So make sure you're very specific as to when you will complete it. So make sure you get 3 to 4 goals in your goals procedure chart. Go ahead and pause, work through it. 1 to 2 should be personal. And then the other ones, we want to make sure that they are on your professional side. Focus on completion, not perfection. Don't get bogged down in too many details yet. That's when we get to the 90-day goal. Don't worry about that here, but focus on completion. Work through it. Push yourself through the process. Now, if you're still having a hard time coming up with goals, sometimes it is easier to think of what we don't want than what we do want. Let me show you. It's easier sometimes to say, well, I don't want to be unhappy. I don't want to be unhealthy. I don't want to go broke. Once you can identify what you don't want, it's easier to identify what you do want. I actually learned this from Jack Canfield. Then you can change that to, I want to be healthy. Then what does healthy mean to you? That might mean working out 3 days a week. That might mean losing 20 pounds. I don't want to go broke. Well, now we can change that to, I want to save $5,000 a year. Much more specific on what you want to reach. So get those 3 to 4 done. Oh, I already have that here. I'll delete that. And if you're feeling a little bit tired right now, this is where your persistence is really going to pay off. Remember, what are the 3 things that we need to succeed? Desire, design, and discipline. This is where you've got to dig down deep for that desire and push through on the discipline. The process works. I guarantee it for you. So we've addressed the long term with our goals procedure chart. Now we've got to take that elephant and break it up into bite-sized pieces so that you can start to really eat it. And we want to get really smart about your goals. So when we go to this 90-day goal and plan now, we want to be very specific. We want to make sure that it's measurable. How do you know that you really achieved it or not? Unless you can point exactly to where you crossed the finish line. Now, attainable, what that means is it means that it needs to be something that is within our reach. If my goal is in the next 90 days to go to med school, well, that's not really even attainable. I have no background to do that. Or if my goal is to go out and start a plastics company, again, it's not attainable. So it needs to be in your wheelhouse. Relevant, and that's going to be about your why. If it's not relevant, you're not going to want to do it. And time specific. As we get into this plan now, we're going to start really breaking down what things happen and when they happen. The more specific you are of your goal, the better your chance of fulfilling it. Remember that vision, Florence Chadwick. If she could have seen the coast, she would have been able to continue swimming. So the more specific you are, the better your chance of fulfilling it. If you still have any doubts about the benefits of planning and what it's going to do for you, how about taking the stress out of your day-to-day life? Would anybody benefit from that? And bring focus and clarity to each day? How about give you confidence in the things that you're doing and that they're the right things to do? And knowing what works and what doesn't work. Test and measuring. Would you like to celebrate wins? How about communicate better with other people because you have clarity on what you need and what you might need their help for when you make a request? That discipline, design, and desire. Keep going. Let's get to your plan. Your 90-day goal here is the sheet. You can print this out if you like to handwrite it. There are a lot of studies that show the value in writing and what that does for you when it comes to goals and planning. Either way, though, you can also use the Excel sheet and type it in. Let's get really clear and really focused on the next 90 days. What is your purpose? Knowing your purpose is going to help you make better decisions about time management and how to invest your time. Let me take you back though. My annual goal is to leverage my training and coaching by using technology. I want to create 15 modules, and I've got them all listed out, to use in my coaching. So for the next 90 days, I want to create and record 6 modules by February 29th. That was my 90-day window. And why? It's going to allow me to work with more people and at the same time help them build their skill set when we aren't together. There's only so much we can do together. I want to be able to reach more people at a quicker pace and build their skill set. Now I'm going to focus on direction. So the objective here is to stay focused, honor my time blocking, right? When I say I'm going to do something, I've got to make sure that I do it and get 5 modules recorded and ready for others so that they can start training. Plan of action. What's very interesting, I see many times when we get down to the action items, people will actually put their plan of action down there. The plan of action is a general look at what you are going to do. So I'm going to create, record, proof, share, and receive feedback on 5 modules. That's not my plan. Don't confuse plan of action with your action items. And those action items are listed here. You'll also note that I did not number them by action item or a by when. The reason being this: think of every action that needs to happen and who needs to do it. Then we'll go back and put them in order. Our mind isn't going to automatically put them in the correct order because we're going to think of things and pull out more and more details of this plan as we go forward. I just grabbed 2 pieces really of my plan. I didn't think I wanted to bore you with all of it. So I've listed my action items and then who's going to do it. So go ahead and do your own. Then I actually go back and will number them and create a by when. So the numbers are not directly in order. Not a big surprise there. So my by whens, too, are not going to always be in exact chronological order. Here's the next key. It's to actually go get your calendar and create your reminders and due dates. Remember, Walt Disney says, everyone needs deadlines. So now go back into your calendar and put in your deadlines for each one of your action items. Yes, hit pause and do it now. And here's a big question. What are you going to do to celebrate? This is great to work, and we need to have that carrot in front of us for that discipline. So what are you going to do to celebrate? And this is a very personal item, whatever it is that you're going to do to celebrate. For me, with my schedule, it's so hectic. I'm lucky if I can get to one workout class a week, and I really enjoy it because I'd like someone else to tell me what to do to work out. So if I get this done, when I get this done, I'm going to schedule an extra workout class in that week. So if you take one thing away from what we talk about, it's get good at goal setting. Getting good at goal setting is going to make a huge difference in your life and give you so much focus and a stronger ability to make really good decisions with your time. So you want to plan your work and then work your plan. You're going to plan your work. That's what we've done here today. Then you're going to work it. You're going to have a lot of learnings and BFOs. You're going to track what works and what doesn't. And then you got to celebrate the wins. And we start all over again. But that circle is going to get bigger because you're better at it. And every time you go through it, you're going to be better at planning, better at thinking. You're going to learn more and you're going to see the results just keep coming in. Because someday you will say, I wish I had, or I'm glad I did. Until I see you next time.